Good Health, My Claudia, podcast with me, Denny Schaefer, a production of Denny Radio. This is episode 49, Claudia, 49.
Woo-hoo!
We're going to talk about fish oils. What are they? What are omega-3s? Why should you care? That's what we're going to talk about. Here's a disclaimer. The information contained in these podcasts is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or health condition. Please consult a qualified healthcare professional if you do have a medical condition. The FDA has not evaluated the information on this podcast, which represents the opinions of the hosts and our guests, and we have one today. Claudia, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you. You too.
I have exciting news. Today is the milestone. Today is what? The 3rd of October 8th, 2022. Do you know where you were?
Yeah, sitting next to you.
You were. That was podcast number 1. It's our 1-year anniversary. Yeah.
Woohoo! Yay.
Isn't
And we
exciting?
didn't even do video that first one. We just chit-chatted.
That's right. We just did that's it. We just did a podcast, just an audio podcast, and now look at us go and grow. We're doing the video and soon to have a state-of-the-art podcast studio.
Woo-hoo! Yay.
So
that's exciting.
It is exciting. I got to go in there between the last 2 podcasts and check out the space. And man, oh man, is that going to be nice. So
looking pretty cool, isn't it?
I'm hoping by, Christmas, before the end of the year, hopefully we're in there. I'm told fall by the contractor, but you can't trust contractors, Claudia. All right, Claudia, before we bring in our guest today, Karla.
Yes.
What are fish oils, first off? Is it like you take a fish and you just squeeze it and get all the oil out?
Karla will tell us how they do that because their product is so high quality. This is why it's such a wonderful company that we've been proud to carry all these years. But we're going to be talking about the importance of omega-3s, and everybody needs omega-3s. They're critically important. Very important, especially for children and their brain and development with DHA. So we're going to talk about all that cool stuff. Okay,
DHA, APP, OPP, you know
DHA,
me. I'm going to need to explain it to me.
Karla will explain it. DHA is for the brain. EPA is for the heart. Beautiful stuff. Hi, Karla.
Say hello to Karla Schmidt. She is a certified nutritionist, national educator for Nordic Naturals. Welcome to the show, Karla.
Yes. Thank you, Denny and Claudia. And by the way, congratulations. Wow.
Thank you.
1 year.
We're very excited. It's a lot of fun. We look forward to our Tuesday gatherings, and it's only going to grow from here. Now, let me remind the viewers, you have any questions throughout the podcast, put them in the comment section. You just text them in there or type them in, and then I'll see them, and I'll relay them to Claudia and Karla. So, what are fish oils? Do you take a fish and you just squeeze all the oil out of it into a teaspoon, and then I'm supposed to take it?
Not quite. That's a great visual, though. I did enjoy that. So fish oil is actually the term that most of our customers are familiar with.
Yes.
But what is within the fish oil is really what we're probably going to spend a good amount of time talking about today.
Yes.
Fish oil has many different types of fats depending upon the type of fish. However, what we really look to is the long-standing voluminous research that exists on 2 primary essential fats that are found in fish oil, and that is the long-chained omega-3 fats, EPA, and DHA.
Yes.
Those are the active constituents. That's what, at Nordic, we probably spend 90% of our time educating on and explaining.
So there's 3 components: fish oil, omega-3s, and DHA?
Well, fish oil contains omega-3s.
Okay, there you go.
Those are the long-chain omega-3 fats.
Okay.
And EPA and DHA are the 2 that are cited in all the research to have a very vital role in the structure and function of every single cell membrane in the body, head to toe.
So this sounds like a pretty important supplement to be taking, correct?
Very important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say if various stores have their foundational 4, the key nutrients they recommend that people consider taking on a daily basis. Omega-3 fats, EPA, DHA are always, I've yet to see them not in everybody's foundational list of products to take.
Correct.
And it's because we can't manufacture them efficiently in the body. And therefore, the only way we can receive adequate or optimal levels is to consume them either by our foods, cold water, oily fish, or algae, for that matter, for someone vegan and vegetarian, or via supplementation. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, we're still not doing a great job. I mean, we speak about this every day and assume most people know.
Every day.
Right?
Yeah.
We are at a 95% deficiency rate in the US.
Yeah.
So when we check red blood cells, we see that Americans are not getting nearly the amount they need, even just for cardioprotection, which is where a lot of the science lives.
Can you eat enough fish in one day to get what you need, or you just got to take the supplements? And is it better to eat the fish, or is it better to have the supplements, or is it a combination of both?
Great questions. Of course, we could consume adequate levels of cold water oily fish like salmon, herring, mackerel, sardines, anchovies. But I emphasize could, because in the United States, we are not consumers of fish.
Most people are not going to eat that much fish, Denny, at least on a daily basis.
Right.
So
that's exactly true. And if you're taking a high quality fish oil that is fresh, has the active levels of the constituents that we're really after found in those food sources, very often you can actually optimize your levels and overall health more efficiently by taking a high quality supplement on a regular basis.
Yes.
So Claudia, what would lead you to come, say to me, if I came in and I told you my story of my health and how I'm feeling, what would I say that would trigger you, or Karla, if you know this too, would trigger you to go, you definitely need fish oil, omega-3. Is there any symptoms, so to speak?
Well, to what Karla just said, it's a foundational nutrient, at least in our store. There are certain things that that I consider important for everyone. Probiotics, omega-3s, magnesium. I mean, you got to have certain tools. And this is a very, the omega-3s, EPA, DHA are incredibly important tools to protect the heart, to protect the brain. But I just wanted to say, a lot of our elderly customers, when they were kids, they were being given cod liver oil. So, fish oil has been around for centuries. I think taking it in some of the forms we have now are, they're more pleasant tasting. Some of them are lemon flavor or whatever. But it's very, very important stuff. And even just, which we'll talk about, anti-inflammatory, lubrication for the joints and all these things. But we definitely see children are extremely, extremely deficient in the in DHA specifically. So we're fans of, that's a fundamental nutrient that we encourage parents to get their children on, because it's so important for the development of the brain.
Absolutely.
But Karla, I just want you to speak, please, real quickly too. So the freshness of the oil is very important. The way it's pulled out of the ocean, the way it's processed is very, very important. And the other thing that I've always appreciated and respected, that, you guys and the other companies that we only sell a few companies of fish oil because we want to make sure they're tested for quality. So these are tested for heavy metal contaminations, which is extremely important. A lot of people are buying them, different companies on mass market, and they have no idea what they're getting in those fish oil products. So fish oil is meant to help and improve and benefit human health. So quality is essential.
Absolutely. And I think there's nothing that kills this category or a person's desire to continue to take this on a daily basis than running into a poor quality fish oil where they get those dreaded fish burps, fish taste. And I don't know how to emphasize this more. And the way I relate it is, if you purchase fresh fish and you put it in your fridge, and 4 days later you're like, oh yeah, I forgot to cook that, and you went to pull it out and it smelled really bad and fishy, most people are going to put it in the trash. Right. However, there's this misconception that fish oil, when taken in a supplement form, is going to smell or taste fishy. And that is actually the detriment of poor manufacturing. So as you mentioned, Nordic has been the premier #1 line in the US for the longest period of time. We've been around since 1995. And what we purposefully do is we don't job out any part of our process.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no opportunity for any adulteration or oxidation, what people refer to as rancidity. So from the minute the fish goes on the boat, with fishing vessels that we align with that are Friend of the Sea certified for sustainability, they are put in an oxygen-free, nitrogen-blanketed environment that pushes the oxygen out. Then it travels to our facility in Norway, which is dedicated to the manufacturing of fish oil only. And that's where we molecularly distill it to pull out those actives, EPA, DHA, purify, test
Yes.
during every single step. And again, that oxygen-free, nitrogen and blanketed environment is maintained. Same takes place in bottling and encapsulating at our facility. And before that bottle is closed, another shot of nitrogen. So what we're doing intentionally is making sure that the customer has a good experience, because we know that compliance is not good once that dies. But also, you are getting the active components in a fresh, active, efficacious state.
Yes.
And we test all day long, but people want to know through an independent tester what our results are. So we've gone a step further. Every single batch of product, whether it's our fish oil formulas or our A to Z's, is sent out to an independent third party, and they test for all the things that you mentioned: PCPs, dioxins, mercury. We test for radiation with every single batch of fish oil. And that is available in real time to the customer. There's a QR code on our box. Put your phone up to it, takes you right to the landing page. You put your lot number in, and there you are. You have
That's very cool.
Of an independent study.
I don't know anybody who does that. That is awesome.
It's very cool.
Yeah, there's a few companies doing some level of that, but not to that level.
Well, and in part for me, I think it's because you guys are still independently family-owned company. You're not owned by some big conglomerate that doesn't care about the product. So this is why we're highlighting on. It's very important to me that we're highlighting all the wonderful family-owned, independently owned companies in our industry that are truly creating products with care and integrity. And it shows in the end result. When people, I don't think I've ever had one customer come back and tell me they took the product and belched it up all day.
Oh, that's so awesome to hear.
So, and if somebody does, I say to them, well, I think that's your liver talking to us. Maybe we need to address your liver a little bit. But as far as the quality, it's really an outstanding product. I've taken it for years. So, so how about if we talk about, EPA, what it's important for? And I do want to point out one thing, Karla, if you would mention this. The FDA does not like companies making claims. They're very, they're not happy about it. But this particular nutrient, they allow claims to be made because of the vast amount of quality research. Is that correct?
Yes. And one of the main reasons that they allow claims, those qualified health claims that you're referring to that have been approved back in 2019, is because we have a big overseeing nonprofit organization known as GOED, the Global Organization for EPA and DHA. And they vet all of the science related to these fats. And they purposefully worked for years to get the FDA to allow for various qualified health claims. Of course, the FDA does their usual disclaimer that some of the studies are inconsistent and non-conclusive. So we always have to include that in our statements.
Yes.
But there's a lot of emphasis now by the FDA and the FTC on really tightening the regulatory belt. And thankfully, Nordic is in a beautiful place because we've always been over the top compliant. Very often I'll be in a a field tour doing a training and do my wordsmithing, because we won't use certain words because we know by DSHEA and other regulations we can't.
Yes.
Well, you know what you could do is you guys could get a lobbyist to go to Washington and start greasing the government, and then they'll get off your back, because that's what it's all about, sister. But that's a whole other podcast later down.
That's a whole nother story, but it's
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm sorry, the first part of your question was related to the understanding the differences between
Just
EPA
yes.
and DHA.
Yeah, just keeping
Great.
it simple.
And a real simple way to speak to these two. First of all, we always need both. They are found in nature together, and oftentimes via drug companies that are attempting to market products that are only one or a synthetic of EPA. Both are necessary, but they have very unique roles. The way I think about the two is you walk through this big doorway that says omega-3s. And to the left, you see an EPA door, and to the right, you see a DHA.
Right.
So when we step into those individual roles that are unique, DHA is that neck up fat. It's the builder fat, the structural fat. So vitally important in pregnancy, at least up until age 6 for the development of the brain.
Yes.
Brain is 60% fat, 20 to 25% of that is or should be DHA.
Yes.
And so pregnancy is vitally important because there's such an accelerated rate of growth of the brain, especially in that last trimester. I think there's a 840% increase of the transfer of DHA from mom to baby in that last trimester. It's crazy.
How much? Say it again. Say it again. How much?
140%.
Wow.
So then you must consider how many pregnant women don't know they should be consuming DHA on a daily basis, and that's a big concern.
Yes.
So DHA has a big role also in visual acuity. In the highest concentration of it in the human body is in the retina of the eye, which is 35% DHA.
Wow.
So again, during
that.
development, super high.
Yeah.
So that's, the adorable demo woman who was trying to help a group of newbies like myself said the best way to remember DHA is to say duh. And there you are, neck up, build your fat. But it's besides it being important in fetal development and those early stages of infant, childhood, adolescence, it also has a very key role for those that may struggle with attention and focus. So, in our line, sometimes we have a product intentionally higher in DHA than EPA for those populations. Yes. And then, of course, as those lovely brain cells say, I'm not going to function as optimally as I used to as we're aging and that progressive cognitive decline starts to find its way in, DHA again could be a really great place to focus on for someone whose goal is to enhance memory, cognition, just everyday task performing.
Yes.
So that's the world of DHA, but it does go across life stages. However, EPA, we call the neck down fat. It is the functional fat. And to be exceptionally compliant, we are allowed to say that it supports a healthy response to inflammation. And if you think of neck down function, we think about heart health, all within those buckets, right? Blood pressure, triglyceride levels,
right?
Heart-related events. We speak to immune health, the support of the immune cells, innate and adaptive, being able to really come in when needed and perform their functions. So also autoimmune condition states would be functional for EPA.
Yes.
Individuals with joint pain, discomfort, as well, interestingly, and most people get a little confused on this one, mood. Very often people think higher DHA to EPA for mood, but the research is pointing to actually best positive outcomes in a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 ratio of EPA to DHA because of its role in supporting a healthy
Ah,
inflammation response in the entire nervous system, not
wow.
talking about the structure of the brain.
Right.
And those individuals tend to utilize, once EPA crosses over the blood-brain barrier, those that struggle seem to be using EPA at a much more accelerated rate. Hence why the research lands there. It's really
Right.
interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out. That's very interesting to know.
So how
Because
do you
you're
know
right.
how
When we
much do
think
you
of
need, though? That's the question. I mean,
I'm sorry?
every individual is different, right? So for me, I might need more of one and not so much of the other. How do you know what you're lacking most in?
That's a great question. I mean, the
Wow,
only
that's twice today. Twice. I'm on a roll.
Claudia's are awesome
good work,
too.
Daddy.
I'm not playing favorites. So obviously, there's two ways to determine where your blood levels are at. You can do a test that measures your fatty acid profile, and there are those that really target omega-3 levels as well as omega-6, because we're always not balanced well between the two. The other is based on reaction. So Nordic only formulates products based on research. So for example, Denny, if you came in and said to Claudia at the store level, I would assume, I'm dealing with some heart-related conditions and I'm not remembering well. I've also got some pain that I'm dealing with in my joints. She will ask you questions to discern what's your main goal. If it's memory, then she would likely say, let's go with a higher DHA to
Exactly.
If it's that neck downs function,
Yep.
then let's go higher EPA to DHA. But that's why at the very beginning, I had that little disclaimer of we always need both, because oftentimes when we educate on this, people get hyper focused on, do I need higher EPA or DHA?
Right.
Bottom line is we're so deficient. Let's just make sure people are consuming these on a daily basis, like Ultimate Omega. They're fairly close, a little higher in EPA than DHA due to their sardine anchovy source profile, but we need them.
By the way, that's what, Claudia, you had me on.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair to say most people need higher levels of both. I mean, most people are, especially as they get older, most people are struggling with inflammatory issues and they need some, brain support. Children, we tend to put more on the DHA just because so many of them are coming in. I mean, Denny, you and I have talked about this, how many episodes we're seeing, 6, 7, 8-year-olds being, coming in. They're on all these antidepressants and I mean, it's awful. It's so awful. It's just very upsetting. So, but I didn't bring one of every SKU. I grabbed the Omega, the Ultimate Omega, but this particular one has CoQ10 in it, which is a great product. But I put you on the original Ultimate Omega.
All right. Well, you put that in my pile and I'll stop by the store tomorrow to pick it up. So that goes in the Denny pile.
Whenever I show things, they go in his pile.
That's part of
I'll tell you, the Ultimate, the 2X is probably one of our most popular. People feel it. They truly feel it. And they'll come back and just, after a month, a couple months, few months, whatever it is. And of course, we always remind everybody, the more you clean up your diet, all the supplements will work better. I mean, if they're not up against a mountain of junk, they're all going to have a greater potential to do what they're meant to do. But the 2X is definitely our most popular, I think.
All right, put that one in my pile, not the other one.
All right. So, and then Karla, I just want to show you, I brought the children's DHA.
Wonderful.
Great product. Great product.
Oh, and I see you have the extra, which is actually my favorite in the children's.
Exactly.
Children's DHA always did well, but then we kept digging into the science and seeing that the positive outcomes landed in that much higher level of DHA in a formula. Hence, that has 2 times the amount of DHA to our regular children's DHA. I always say to my kids who are now late 20s, I really wish I knew this when I was pregnant and when you were young children. You could have been a lot smarter. They always laugh.
But I always tell every parent when they say that, thank God you know what you know now, and you're learning what you're learning, and that's how it goes. But I with the DHA for children, it is amazing. The way I look at it, these kids are generationally deficient of so much. I mean, how could they not be?
Right.
With all the junk after World War II, the junk and the sugar went up and the probiotics and everything else went down. So these kids, a lot of them are struggling, and it's very, very sad to see. Thank God we have the knowledge and wonderful tools to help them feel better. So
all right, we have a question here from Lucy. She says, I feel like I really need this supplement, but every time I've taken it, I get tired/dizzy. I do have low blood pressure, and have thought maybe it drops my blood pressure. Any suggestions? She loves the show, loves you guys. She's never tried it from Nordic Naturals, though.
Well, that's where you have to begin, because
mistake number one.
Without knowing the quality of what you were taking, that's always the issue. That's always the first issue. So
and I might add to that. I mean, we do know that omega-3 fatty acids have been supported in the literature to lower blood pressure. And so I'm not sure what dose Lucy's taking, but it could be that she may want to start at a lower dose, such as 500 milligrams a day to test it out. But if you're getting dizzy and tired, that immediately in my mind said perhaps allergic reaction, but there's no fish components. I don't mean to Nordic. It could be, if it's a poor quality product, they may have added colorants or preservatives or a slew of artificial ingredients that really interfere with how your body's receiving these profound fats.
Or the company isn't checking for contaminants. It could be something that simple.
Right.
So quality, quality, quality. That's why I'm so proud of what we do in health food stores. We are all about quality because we care. And that's why we work in a beautiful synergy with companies like Nordic, because they care. And when people are shopping mass market for their supplements, it's not, because let's face it, it's an investment in our health. And we want the best quality because we want the best investment. So Nordic, so if you come in, I don't know if you're in the Toledo area, thank you for watching also. But if you come in, we'll guide you properly, and let's see how you do.
All right, Claudia, do you have any more products? Because we're running out of time.
Already? Yes, we just got started. Okay, a couple. I did bring the blood sugar. Okay, so the CoQ10, there's 100 milligrams of CoQ10 per 2 soft gels. It's a great way. A lot of people have 1 million bottles they're taking, and they're always looking for how can they cut out a bottle. So this would be for CoQ10. I also brought the blood sugar support. I love this. This has alpha-lipoic acid in it, which is a wonderful, we've talked about alpha-lipoic acid, Denny, in some other past podcasts, but I'm a big fan of alpha-lipoic. It helps a lot of people, very supportive to the pancreas. And actually, Karla, there's research showing that it's very important for the brain also, isn't it? Alpha-lipoic?
Yeah, I think in its antioxidant role that it has been supported for the research on brain.
Yes.
And keeping the neurons free of any oxidative stress or landing on signal pathways to cut off communication or cell-to-cell communication.
Cell-to-cell, yes. Because that's what it's all about, right? Rebuilding cell-to-cell communication. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, I always remember Dr. Bernard Jensen. I don't know if you knew who he was, but I was very blessed to Joe and Pat Bassett used to have him annually for a 3-day conference at the store. So as a young woman, I was very blessed to learn from him. And he always said, life happens at the cell. And I always have remembered that because it's true. If things can't get to the cell, what's the point? That's why digestion and cleaning up the gut is so important. If it can't get through the gut, it can't uptake properly. Anyway, I didn't bring any of the liquids, but the liquids are wonderful. What are there? Lemon flavor, there's orange flavor, and they're easy to take. Yes, they're a great product. We always encourage people to take fish oil with food, help it digest better. And the other one I wanted to, you mentioned the algae form. So there's a lot of vegans, plant-based people out there. So just tell us real quickly with the algae-based.
Yes.
Is algae, are they deriving both EPA and DHA from it, or just DHA?
It really depends on the strain, but for the most part, algae is mostly DHA, just as found in nature. And one thing I love to emphasize with the algae, many vegans and vegetarians, customarily for decades, they think they're getting enough omega-3s from their alpha-linolenic acid sources like flax and chia, leafy greens. And those are considered indirect sources. They have to convert into those long chain omega-3s. 20 conversion steps in the body. A perfectly healthy person only converts 1 to 5%, let alone someone who may have existing conditions, environmental stressors. So what I love about algae for that vegan or vegetarian is they can get a viable dose with a direct source. Nothing needs to be converted.
Right.
The strain in the product you just showed me, Schizochytrium, in that particular product is all DHA, 500 milligrams.
Yes.
We do have another formula called, I'm blanking on, Omega Algae, or Algae Omega, excuse me.
Take your supplement. Take a supplement, Karla. Your brain will figure it out.
I need more DHA.
Yes.
Algae Omega. That is also a Schizochytrium train. However, that particular one has some EPA in it, like 145 milligrams per 2. So we do have 2 options, but normally it's mostly DHA.
Yes.
Well, that's good stuff.
I think that's good stuff, huh?
Great.
I think that
was
a good basic understanding of omega-3s. Would you agree?
I would.
Denny, would you agree?
I would. Now, you mentioned CoQ10. Now, is that for the joints? What is that for? You just dropped that in there out of all of a sudden.
I did, because
like everybody knows what it is.
Well, because I didn't grab just the plain ultimate omega. I meant to, and I forgot. So CoQ10 came along for the ride. CoQ10 is very important for the function of the heart.
Oh, it's a heart
among other things.
Okay.
But that'll be another
production.
What is it? Say it again.
It's also involved heavily in energy production because it's the coenzyme that creates ATP, our energy molecules.
Yes.
So like for that product, definitely important for heart, for energy of the heart, because it utilizes so much electrical energy, but also some individuals that may be on medications that naturally reduce production of coenzyme Q10. Some cardiologists, internists will recommend omegas with CoQ to make sure that level doesn't drop low.
Yeah, so we have cardiologists that which I respect. When they have people on statins, they will tell them come into the store and get CoQ10. So that's but that's another conversation. But
good stuff.
I just kind of threw that in there. Sorry.
Yeah, it's great.
All right,
good to learn.
Karla,
so one other thing before we go, I know we're running out. There's gummies. You guys make gummies for kids, for elderly that can't swallow different things. So it's a beautiful line. We're very proud to carry this company. And thank you guys for all that you do.
Thank you. And we can't do it without you. I mean, we can have product all day long, but if your enthusiasm and knowledge and passion shine. So thank you for supporting your customers and our line. We're really grateful.
Yep. That's the beauty of our industry, is that synergy, right? Between the small stores that really care and the wonderful family-owned companies that care as well. So we really appreciate you being with us and hope you join us again.
I would love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Many blessings to you.
You got it.
Have a wonderful day.
You too, Karla. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Lucy Spencer, that's who asked that question, says, thank you very much with the heart emoji. And then Dawn says, I recently bought the Magnesium Fizz, and for whatever reason, it makes me feel weird.
Oh, well, that's a big that's another conversation. So we would have to, but we're happy to, if you come in the store, we're happy to guide you on that.
So come back in and talk to Claudia about it.
Just come back in anytime. Listen, when we guide people, we are there to partnership with them. We're not there to say, just take all this stuff and see ya. We're there to guide people. So if it's not working for you, bring it in and, come back in and we'll look and see. We'll ask you a few questions and see what's going on. So.
All right. So
All right.
she says she will. She says, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I will. All right.
Thank
So
you.
you know what we're doing next week, right? It's Q&A,
Next,
baby. Q&A, Claudia,
yeah.
Q&A. It's one of
And
my
I love-
favorite. It's one of my favorites that we do.
I love that people are sending in questions. I think it's so cool. I love that.
So it'll
thank
be
you,
an
everybody.
entire podcast next week. And of course, this one on Friday, I'll have it in audio form. So if you know somebody who missed it, somebody who could benefit from this, then you can share it, with them. And it's, for some people, it's a lot easier just to listen to it in an audio podcast. So that'll be up by Friday on the Facebook page.
Yes.
All right. What else do you want to mention here, Claudia, before I give you the last word?
I mean, that's it. I think we went over a lot of nice products, and I hope that everyone embraces, what we're talking about every week. We're teaching people how to embrace their own health and fill their natural toolbox with quality, effective, safe, beautiful products. It changes the whole scope for so many people. And when we, I always say, when we see people that are coming in on 12, 15, 18 meds, and they have all these different docs that are just throwing them on meds and nobody's helping them, we never encourage, we don't encourage anybody to stop their meds, but it's fair to say we have a lot of people coming in. They want to learn a different way. They want to learn how to nourish their health. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I always say, ultimately, as more people learn to nourish their own health, it will change so many things in this country, and big things, important things. So keep working on it, everybody. And we so much appreciate you tuning in, and thank you every week. Our audience is growing and it's very exciting. So, oh, is this the last word? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, I always say, just keep the faith. Do what you can for yourself. And, the greatest teacher is to teach by example. So as adults, as parents, change what they're doing with what they're eating and their lifestyle, and they're giving good nutrition to themselves and their children. This makes a big impact for the children of this country. They need to see positive ways of approaching their health, positive ways of eating God-given food. So it's a beautiful journey. It's a commitment, but it's the best commitment people will ever make, because it's again, we've worked with people with lots of money and everything in the world, but they didn't have their health. And so they weren't having a lot of fun. So good health is everything. Nature's Pharmacy is magnificent. I'm so grateful to be a part of this industry and walk this journey every day. So everybody, just take it in baby steps. Just do little things every day. Be mindful as you can. Care about what you're eating. Care about what you're drinking. Let your kids see that food is not meant to come out of a can or the freezer or, a fast food restaurant. We've got to get back to teaching them about true God-given things. So anyway, keep the faith. And it's a beautiful day here. We hope it's a beautiful day where you're at. So many blessings to everybody. Peace.